and it's recording now, so it can go on the ER Shred podcast and YouTube channel. Hi, everybody in ER Shred. I'm here with Kathy Peters. I'm so excited to get to sit down with you, have a little conversation, ask my 5 questions, the things that I feel are, if I could sit down at lunch with you or have coffee with you, these are the questions I want to know about you. These are the things that I am most interested in. So I'm excited to get to know you a little bit better. We've seen you a lot within the group, and we've learned a lot about you so far, but let's dive even deeper, right?
I'm ready.
Okay, well, first, just tell us a little bit about you. Introduce yourself really quickly for those who might not know, have not seen you in any previous calls.
Okay, I'm Kathy Peters. I started the ER Shred in October. I'm on my 7th shred, I think. This is my final shred before my goal. I live on the island of Kauai in the state of Hawaii. I'm married to my boyfriend, Randy. He's the man of my dreams. Oh, I'm weepy. He is, though. And
Yes.
I am divorced previously, so I learned a lot from that. It all is good, and I'm happy to be happily married now. I am unemployed. I was unemployed in August, and I'm really good at not working. I didn't think I would be, but I'm really good. My cupboards are so clean.
Yeah, lots of time on your hands.
I was a business office manager at an assisted living community for 14 years. And I think my pay rate outgrew my job description. And they kind of did away with my position, and just like, I went off into the future of nothingness. And I thought I'd be really like wigged out about it, but I wasn't. So I'm really adjusted quite well, focusing on just hanging out and being with myself. That was weird. But,
Yeah.
then ER Shred came up the next month. So that's why I dove in so hard, is I got a little fluffy, just, from stress at work. Didn't realize I was under stress until I wasn't working. And ER Shred landed in my lap at the exact right moment. So I was able to really dive into the community, which I think is probably the best group I've ever been in. That I can just be myself in there and be authentic and be goofy or be serious. Or sometimes I think everybody takes themselves so seriously, and when really it's just relaxing into your life and into your lifestyle.
Oh, I love that. I love that. You remind me a lot of Chris Albright, because she, I don't know, something about you too, just like you make me feel calm and at ease with life. And I just love the vibe that you two put off. So
yeah, well, that is good. Yeah.
That's great. So what else about you as far as your passions, besides health and nutrition, like what other kinds of passions you have now in your life? Because I know we go through different seasons, but.
And I know that, I'm on a spiritual path. I love crystals and meditation,
Yes,
all of those different things. And that's my passion, is personal growth. I'm in some great book clubs with all different kinds of people, isogenics people, my family, and it's all about learning how to deal with life and just be a happy person and spread happiness. So like this morning when I woke up, I thought, well, I'll just see what kind of little silly meditation I can find. And I just went on this morning and I found this 4-minute meditation, happy, joyful. Your day is going to be great. I don't know if you've ever done tapping.
a little bit. I'd like to do more though.
It's very strange, but I did it 2 times before I even hit the ground. And I thought, well, I'll see what Randy thinks about this. And we came out and we did it. And all it was is, I'm going to have a great day.
Yeah.
And so far it's been pretty great.
It worked.
being settled and happy and taking, life as it comes and enjoying every moment.
Yes, I love that. So I loved the video you shared like a week ago of was it your daughter's crystal shop?
No, that was my friend.
Oh,
She's
your friend.
from Germany, Katya. Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, that crystal shop is bananas. We
Oh my gosh.
we go there, I would say once every couple months, and just stand still.
Yeah.
they're such great people, and they're very spiritual, and they do all kinds of things. I don't even know what they're doing, but
Yeah.
she knows all about every single thing. She's just very, very intelligent about that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Oh,
They're
I
a
love
great
that.
couple. They have a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's funny. I had a dream a while ago because I love crystals too. I had a dream that I had these gigantic crystals all in my yard, and it was just
Ooh.
this oasis of crystals. And I'm just like, if only they didn't cost so much, that would what my yard would have, like these huge crystals in it.
Yeah, they are all over our house. They
Yeah.
all have meaning, but usually I pick them out first and then I ask what they mean. And she said, if you're attracted to something, then you'll know that it should be in your house or you should be wearing it or something. But I always just go for what I feel. And
Yes.
that's another thing too. I feel like I've read a couple books that have really helped me vibrate higher.
Yeah.
And the vibration of love can be measured in megahertz, I think it is.
Mhm.
And it's 528 megahertz. And I have some crystal bowls and things that vibrate at different things, and you can feel it.
Yeah.
And when I was growing up, I lived in a house and the address was 528. So we have a $5.28 gift exchange in my family. 528 shows up for me all the time. And I didn't even know it was the vibration of love until maybe 2 years ago. And I thought, wow,
Oh.
all of us lived in that house together. And it was when all 5 kids were in the same house, which was odd because my sister's 19 years older than I am. So I got to go back and visit that house. And Randy's sister owns the house now, and it's a rental, and the renters let us go in, and it was awesome. And I could still feel, I felt very emotional and happy when I was in the house. So I had a good childhood there. It was great.
That is awesome. I would love to go back to some of my childhood homes, but that's so cool that they let you just walk through and feel that vibe. That's so cool that you have like good memories as well.
And we moved to a house when I was 7, and it was on a street called Scenic Drive. And Randy's uncle built the house because he's from a family builder. So there's this really weird connection before we even knew each other. And we were driving by, and the lady was having a garage sale. And I looked at Randy and I said, stop the car. So he's like, oh no. So we pull into this driveway and turn around, we pull up, and she's like, hey. I said, hey. I see, hi. She said, the garage sale's tomorrow. And I said, I know. And so we're getting out of the car. And she's like, what the heck? And so I just went right up to her and I said, my name is Kathy Peters. I used to live here. I just wanted to tell you what a great house this is. And can I come in? She's like, okay.
Can I come in?
She let us go in. And she did it. And I always have dreams about this house. And she let us go in, and it was beautiful. I mean, they ripped all of the walls out, and it was just exactly what I would have done. And I was so excited, and she was so nice. And then we got down to the basement, and I said, you know, that room back there is haunted, right? She goes, that's where my dad used to keep like the liquor and the beer we weren't allowed in there. So he told us it was haunted, so we wouldn't go in there.
Yeah.
She goes, what do you mean? She's like, really? And I said, it's haunted. I'm telling you, I know it is, because I'd freak out every time I went in there. But she's like, I really did not need to know that. And I said, I'm just kidding.
That's funny. That is so funny, the way we see things as a child, or how it gets locked in our minds and we see it, and then we grow up and we're like, oh, now I see.
Yeah, now I see the lie behind that statement.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go in there. No way.
It worked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now I would like to, I'm sure you're like really into this as well. I already get the vibe that you and I have a lot in common. So I'm sure you spend a lot of time like visualizing the things that you hope to manifest in the next 5 to 10 years. So I would love to get a peek inside the mind of Kathy and hear like how you would envision your life over the next 5 to 10 years, what you're hoping to manifest.
Well, actually, I have everything I need and want right now. So my manifestation is about real happiness and being financially secure. So that's why I'm going to be on the call on Thursday.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see if I can get reignited with ER Shred and share it. But really, I am so happy and content that I think my goal is just going to be more of the same and spreading it around like peanut butter, because I mean, that is my goal, is to help other people feel good about themselves. And it kind of might even go into the next part of this, but right out of high school, I went to cosmetology school because my parents were older and they just were like, do whatever you want, just get a job. All of my other sisters had to go to college, but I didn't. So I went to cosmetology school because I have super curly, nasty hair. And I thought, well, I'm going to go figure out how to handle this crap on my head. And it did not work, but I really enjoyed it because it was fun in such a small physical way to help people feel better about themselves, even just paying attention to somebody for an hour, even though they're sitting down and they're paying me money to cut their hair. I was not very good at anything except cutting. And but I had a clientele because we would just come in and they would be like, I don't really want you to trim my hair. Can you just like brush it? And we would talk and have the best conversations and feel good about things. Or they come in with, some little tiny problem or something. I mean, I'm no counselor, but it was fun. It was a fun job because of that. But I didn't do it for very long. I went into business and stuff like that, but eventually got a little more education. But making sure that people are comfortable in my presence is really important to me. And I think I got a lot of training with that when I was growing up and with my parents. They were very funny people. I never saw them fight once. When somebody did fight in front of me, my friend's parents fought. I cried. I didn't know that I thought it was on TV.
Oh,
I had a really good, I had really cool parents, and we always took care of elders in our home. My grandpa had Alzheimer's, so we all took turns taking care of grandpa. He always managed to do something icky in the bathroom when it was my turn, but that's okay. It trained me for working at a retirement community, but I've had a great life, and I plan on keeping it that way.
I love that. That's so good. I don't hear very often that people describe their childhood experience in necessarily it's not usually very positive. I think a lot of us look back and see a lot of trauma. So that's really uplifting to hear that you had such a great experience growing up. I like that.
I had icky things, but I've dismissed them.
That's really powerful.
Yeah. So the way I learned how to dismiss them is actually in my divorce counseling, because I didn't dismiss them until I was a little older. But she said to imagine yourself in a cold, wet wetsuit, a heavy wetsuit, and that you are really just a beam of light, and anything that's burdening you, unzip the suit and struggle it off and leave it in a pile and walk away. And so I did that with a couple of things that happened to me as a kid. That happens to a lot of people. And it works for me to visualize stepping away from it and leaving it behind in a pile.
Yeah.
Or being in the corner of a room and deciding how to handle a situation. Like at my old job, somebody would come in and they'd be like, oh, complain. And I'm like, how do I want this to turn out? So I would take myself over there and say, okay, now I'm in my own movie. And how do I want this to end so that when I watch it later, I can win an award for being the best actress of, wow, you're really on my nerves, but I'm going to help you anyway, and it just got to be a habit. And then they weren't on my nerves anymore. And it was just, I'd see somebody coming, I would give them my complete focus. I would drop what I was doing, employee, resident, anything. And as long as I think you're focused on somebody and you give them your attention, it can only turn out well. And if I'm vibing around them and I'm hugging them with my glowy arms and all the hearts are flying out of my body, they can't dodge that stuff. It's heavy duty, and they can come in and you could just feel the negativity. And I'm like, oh, not in my office and not today. And, come and have a seat, and I just totally engage. So I learned a lot from that counselor, and I don't even remember how old I was, but she was incredible. And I've taken away a lot of those lessons.
That is a really good lesson, because I think a lot of times we feel like, well, we should tell people when they're doing something wrong, or we should be the ones to make them aware of these things. But I think that there's even more power in just focusing on your own self and how you can just be that light. I like your visual of you are the light, just zip off that wetsuit, take it off and set it aside. And just by you trying to remain in that high vibe space and then being around the people, like that alone is, I think, should be our number one goal, instead of like, how can I tell them they need to change? They need to stop being ornery.
Yeah. And taking a breath before I speak, like a big breath. Because,
Yeah.
nobody's timing your reaction unless they're timing it, and they want to, right now. But who's going to not let you take a breath?
Yeah.
So it really is helpful just to, whew.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you ground yourself and you get this thought process going. And sometimes the stuff that comes out of my mouth, I don't even know where it comes from, but it seems to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's so great. Now, can you tell me some more about some things that you're proud of from your past, like things that you've accomplished or overcame in your life?
I would say I've had a pretty nice life. The things that I've overcome, like I said, I've kind of dismissed them. I overcame a bad marriage. I overcame a bad relationship with my brother. I guess just even physically going through stressful periods when I was the manager of the center that I worked at for a couple of years. I just plowed on 50 pounds and then I took it. And I was always pretty fit, but I didn't realize how stressed out I was. So I think self-improvement and allowing other people to help me. I was pretty independent.
Yeah.
But I wasn't independent at all. And I always kind of felt like I didn't belong anywhere, but I belonged everywhere. But I didn't fit anywhere, but I fit everywhere. So I didn't have like this tight group of, people are like, oh, she's my best friend from high school. I've got a best friend, but she's not from high school. And I mean, that was a long time ago. And if that's who they think I am, I'm not. Thank God.
Yeah.
Because wow, that was high school, right? But
Yeah.
I would just say I'm just proud of my ability to accept help, because I was always the giver of help. And now I'm like, yes, you can do that. Yes, please let me, let's do this together, and just allowing people in and not being so closed and afraid to be a goofball. Because I am a goofball, and I embrace it. And I'm not the life of the party. I'm not the person that goes in and says, I'm here, now the party can start. Well, sometimes I am, but not all the time.
Yeah.
Usually the party's here and they walk in and I'm like, yeah. But I give myself permission to be honest and real. And before, I would probably like never walk out of the house. In Ohio, when we lived in Ohio, I would never walk out of the house unless I was like completely ready to go somewhere. And here, you don't do that. You can walk out to the mailbox underwear and nobody would care or notice. And I'm like a face mask on my face or something, and my hair's all whacked out. And I'll just go get the mail, and my neighbors are waving. And there's a time in my life where that would have mortified me, and it's not like that here.
Do you think it's just being in Hawaii, or it's just the way you've evolved as a person?
I think not knowing anybody here and and not growing up here and not having a past here and creating my own future with Randy. And we moved here a year after we got married. We got married here and then we moved here. Mostly because we just loved the weather and we loved the feeling of the island. And I had a job with Harley Davidson, and we came with our Harley and we had a blast, and then we became adults somewhere. We're still fun.
Yeah.
But we had a great life here, and it's just fantastic.
How many years again have you been there? Did you say?
18 years here.
18, yeah. And Maui, right? Are you in Maui?
Oh, Hawaii.
Oh, Kauai. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
What island were you on?
I was on the Big Island in Hilo, like in the really small part.
Yeah, and when I landed there one time, I was like, "Where's the green part?" Because it was like landing on a piece of coal.
Yeah.
Beautiful and stark, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of pretty spots for sure, but yeah, there's a lot of the lava. And but I just remember my mom's like, we're gonna go live in Hawaii. You want to come? When I was like 19, I'm like, oh, yeah, like I envisioned like all these beaches and sunshine. And then we went to Hilo. I was like,
Yeah.
what is this? This is not the Hawaii I envisioned. But we did start, as I explored, I started to find some beautiful areas like waterfalls, and it's, a lot of green. But yeah, when I first got there, I was like, where are the sunny white sand beaches? There weren't any.
But there's a lot of beauty there. So
for sure. Yeah. But just not what I had envisioned as Hawaii, but for sure I did find beauty there.
So that really, what gets me out of bed in the morning is just being joyful and trying to spread that around as much as possible. And if I run into somebody who doesn't want to be joyful, I just drag them with me, and they will be joyful by the time we part ways. But that's it. I mean, I have a great life.
I know, it sounds amazing. I'm like, I want to come spend some time at your place.
I'm going to give you a plot twist.
Okay. Oh.
You have to wait for 1 second.
Okay.
Don't move. Don't watch.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm going to interview you.
Oh, okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
We're at Hawaii Live. Wow.
Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous.
These are easy questions.
Okay.
Ideally, are you more of a morning or a night person?
I think a morning person.
Yes. Do you like coffee?
Yes.
Do you like butter in your coffee?
Yes.
If you saw a picture hanging crookedly at a friend's house, would you straighten it?
Yes, which is so funny because that reminds me of this morning. Sean hung up his robe, and the sleeves were all like tangled up, and like I always like straighten them. And then I went back in and I saw that the sleeves were all like bunched up again. I'm like, is he playing a joke on me? But I think he put it back on and then hung it up again. But I like had to straighten the arms. Like things have to be straight for me.
Totally understand that. But I'm not mad at it or not, but I just prefer them straight.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, gotta fix that.
Okay, here's a heavy one. Are you ready?
Yeah.
You consider yourself adept at using chopsticks?
What does adept mean?
Good. Are you good at using chopsticks?
Yes, actually, because I really enjoy eating with chopsticks. I think Sean thinks it's so funny because he'll just use a fork when we're at like those types of restaurants, and I'm like, I love, like, to me the food tastes better with chopsticks.
Well, I'm not good at it, but I act like I am.
Oh,
so I persona that I can do it even if I can't do it.
Yeah.
So here's a good one. Walking into a classroom, are you more comfortable sitting in the front, the middle, or the rear?
I would say the front, just because that helps me pay attention better.
Me too, but I can't see, so that's why I would sit.
Yeah, me too. So maybe that's why I'd go to the front, because it's blurry if I go too far.
Okay. When in a car, do you usually prefer to be the driver or the passenger?
When
you're in a car, do you want to drive or do you want to be driven?
I usually like to be driven, especially if Sean's in the car, because he is the worst like backseat driver. So I don't like how he's just constant. Oh, watch out. I'm like, I know how to drive. I've been driving just as long as you.
Listening to this? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hears me. He hears you. So they call me just Miss Daisy because I don't like to drive. I will drive. Yeah. And I'm a good driver, but I don't want to.
But I prefer to just relax,
Yeah, because you get to see more.
Yeah.
So if you could play any musical instrument quite well, what one would you choose?
The guitar.
Yeah. Do you play guitar?
I tried for a while, and then I couldn't do one thing, and then I quit, and it was like taking up too much time. I couldn't find the time to do it anyway, but I just got stuck in this one, like I couldn't do this one chord. And then I was like, I don't think my fingers are meant for it. So I stopped.
I know, I get you. That's the way I
Yeah.
am with piano.
Oh,
Do you dream a lot at night?
yeah.
Do you,
Crazy.
do
Crazy
you
dream.
daydream too? Do you like were these crystals? This is driving me bananas. The crystal, was that a daydream or a night dream or the ones that you
That
have?
was at night. Yeah.
All right. Do you dream in color?
Yes.
Do you feel pain in your dreams, or can you feel things like
Yeah.
thirst and like sensations?
Yes. And when it seems to be this reoccurring thing in my dreams where I'm always like, I can't, like if I'm running, I'm like almost half paralyzed, or I feel like lead weight. I can't, I'm like, right, like last night I was trying to run from these cheetahs and I'm just like so slow, and I couldn't like go faster. My
I
legs
don't
were
have
like,
that. I wonder what that means. Because
Yeah,
I
me
have had
too.
that before, but I don't have it anymore.
Oh, really? Because I thought it was
My legs
maybe
don't
just because I am asleep, so I can't physically move my body. So it's like me half awake and half asleep.
But sometimes, and I had somebody tell me this, it might have been my brother-in-law, who was a priest, who married my sister, who was a nun, by the way.
Oh,
So they're very spiritual. But he told me to tell myself I'm dreaming.
he
says, if
said
you
to what?
He said, tell yourself you're dreaming.
In your dream?
In your dream. Like,
Oh.
this is impossible. First of all, where are the cheetahs coming from?
Yeah.
And second of all, my legs worked when I went to bed.
Yeah.
And he said, if you can figure out that you're dreaming in your dream and control your dream, you can have a blast.
I know, like the lucid dreaming, I still haven't figured out how to like control my dream, because that would be really cool.
So he said, before you go to bed, tell yourself, I'm going to bed right now. Everything from now until I wake up is a dream and I am in complete control. And say that like 3 times or something. It works for me when I remember to do it.
Really? I need to be more intentional about that, because I've heard people talk about it, but I've never really experienced being able to be in control of my dreams. But I would like to, because I think it would be a fun way to experiment with life without actually having to do it in real life.
Right. Okay, here's one for you.
Okay.
If the light turned yellow as you approached an intersection in your car, would you accelerate or slow down if you were alone in the car?
I would accelerate if there weren't very many cars around. But if I would slow down, because of course I don't want to hurt anybody, but if I don't see anyone around, I go fast.
Me too. What room of your house are you most comfortable in?
It's a good question. I created a Zen den in my house, which I love, but I don't actually go in there very much because it's like not always the right temperature. It's like a little bit colder and the sun doesn't come in. So I think I would prefer my living room, because the sun, there's great big windows and the sun comes in on that side of the house. Yeah.
Good. Do you prefer wearing or not wearing a watch?
Not wearing a watch. My watch is just right here and it just sits here for days. I never put it on because I don't like to wear it.
And then the last question. This was kind of interesting though. I saved this for last.
Okay.
Which do you feel allows you to discover more about a person? The questions they ask or the answers they give? Ooh,
that's a good one.
These weren't really my questions. These were questions from a game, but.
Oh, that's fun. These are good questions though. I think I've never really considered that.
I answered your questions, there, and you learned a lot about me, but I think it was fun to ask you questions, even though they weren't my questions. And all of the stuff I just learned about you, I thought was pretty cool. But I think that you learn from each other about, a conversation is a conversation. It's asking questions and listening to answers. But that's it. You have to listen to the answer. And after somebody, you have to engage in the conversation instead of just pretending like you're listening to an answer.
Yeah.
And I can tell when somebody's doing that. you're not doing that, but I can tell when somebody's doing that.
Yeah.
Usually I'll like act like I'm picking, doing something, or just to see if they're even paying attention to what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
I think you find out a lot about a person by asking questions and trying not to be nosy, but just inquisitive. And there's a fine line between that. But I thought it was fun to ask you the questions and throw things off. But
I like that, Kathy. That's fun. I love that you wanted to throw in a little twist, and I appreciate that. I like it. I like doing things different. Like, I really feel like that's part of our ER Shred culture, is like, how can we throw in a twist? How can we look at this differently? How can we do it differently? And so I love that. That was really fun. So fun to answer those questions. So thank you for
I tried to pick fun ones. Some of them were so deep, I'm like, I don't think so. But anyway, it's a fun game to engage in conversation. So
yes, I like that. But yeah, that's a good question. I would like to think more about that, as far as like, how do you learn I think I learn more from people by the questions that they ask or the answers that they give. But
it's like really, kids, if your kid asks you a question, you're like, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
What is going on? I mean, I really think it's an insight if you pay attention to what people ask you.
That's so
not
true.
Like, where did you get this crayon? It's different than, Mom, does it matter if somebody's running naked in our yard? It's just, it depends on where their head is. Or
think of that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought it would be fun. Keep it lighthearted. Some people are really serious, and I can be serious, but I didn't feel like it today because I'm on cleanse brain.
Oh yeah, cleanse brain. And I know for sure. I always feel like I'm a little delirious on the second cleanse day.
Yeah, I'm pretty spastic today. I mean, I'm usually not quite this spastic. But sometimes I am.
How's your energy today?
Good. Really good. Yesterday I cleaned out all of our closets.
Nice. I love that feeling. I love the feeling of just like organizing and decluttering and
and my closets were already pretty good. So I went and I hung all the things up facing the same way. And I'm like, I really wasn't bored, but it was just like, I just feel like straightening this up. And then I make Randy follow me around. Look what I did. Look what I did. Look what I did.
I know. I'm the same way. I'm like, look, and Sean's like, great. Like, he would never notice if I don't point it out. He would never notice.
And it makes me mad. Not mad. Then I get disappointed.
Yeah, I'm like, how come you don't appreciate it like I do? It's amazing, right? Look, doesn't it make you feel so good?
Or can't you see that I alphabetized the spice drawer?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? So he said, don't alphabetize it. Put it by strength of spice, baking, hot, herbs. I'm like, I'm even smarter. So
you got your next project. That'll be on your to-do list tomorrow.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think that those types of things can be very therapeutic and meditative. Like, sometimes we might look at that as a waste of time. Like, is that really necessary? But for me, it really is, because I think it's one way to raise your vibration for certain personalities, because it's like getting your mind off of the continual thoughts that are sometimes bogging us down. But when we start focusing our attention on something, it is for me like meditation, because I'm like taking out the thoughts and I'm focusing on this that makes me feel higher, lighter vibration, and just really good for me.
And when you're focusing on a person or a job or a task or something like that, it takes your mind off of the squirrel in your head.
Yeah.
Something bugging you, and you can just go, okay, that's just silly. Why am I thinking about that again?
Yeah.
And if you're something like alphabetizing spices, you can't think of everything at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's a way to get rid of all the garbage.
It really is. For sure, that's been my experience. But whenever I'm mad, I always turn to organizing and cleaning, and I think it really does help calm me.
It does me too. Getting rid of clothes that don't fit. Who am I going to give this to? Who can wear this? I have all these bags everywhere. I mean, after you do it so many times, you're like, wow, I don't have anything left to wear. Which
I'm finding I am becoming more simple in a lot of areas of my life, with our diet for sure, but then also with my wardrobe, I've really eliminated a lot of choices, which I think can give us more energy because we have like so many choices every day. Like if we can kind of work at eliminating some of the choices, it kind of frees up some extra energy. And that's what I've noticed. I've eliminated a lot of things in my closet, and I've got down to a baseline, and and it's just very simple, but I know what I like to wear, and I just try to keep it real basic and simple. And it kind of has freed me from more choices, choice overload, you know?
You don't have to think so much. You just like,
Yeah.
oh, I remember this is comfortable and I'll wear it. Yeah. Randy's the same way. He just is not a clothes guy. He's got nicer clothes than I do. And
Really?
he's like, I always have the same things on him. Who cares? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It just matters what's in here.
Yeah. You know, I wish I could, we need to make a trip to Hawaii because like I could spend hours with you. Like I feel like we have so much in common. I would love to just spend a whole day with you, like go travel around Hawaii.
Good. Kauai is a beautiful island.
I need to do that.
You know, my friend Nicole just left. She was here, and I met her through Isogenics. She just bopped over, and we spent a few days together, and really took around and just had a blast.
That's fun.
It was just fun. Yeah,
so
we had a great time.
Yeah. So anybody in ER Shred community, if you're ever in Kauai, you need to go spend some time with Kathy. She's fun.
Yeah. It's over.
Well, thank you so much, Kathy. I've really enjoyed this, and I loved getting to know you even better. So thank you for being here. Yeah, I loved it. Okay, well, thanks everybody who's joined us. And yes, and if you are just catching us, then you can watch the replay on YouTube or the ER Shrek podcast. I'm going to go upload it now.
Okay.
All right. See you later, Kathy. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.